Well, thank you all for coming down to today's Friday Fuel. And we have here Sanj from Holition here to talk to us a bit about augmented reality. So, without further ado, here's Sanj.
Hi guys. How's everyone doing? Okay, it's Friday.
Yeah.
The feedback's a bit funny, isn't it?
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, thank you for asking. Usually no one asks, you know. They want free pizza and, you know, like.
Can we turn the lights down?
Yeah.
Ooh, wrong way. There we go.
So, yeah, my name's Sanj. I'm the experiential producer for a digital design creative agency called Holition. We're basically a company that's been around about 6 years. What we specialise in is new technology. I'll show you. I'll talk you through what we do. Turn that on. So yeah, we've been around 6 years. We were set up by a lady called Lynn Murray. She was a lady that was working within jewellery at the time, and she found that the industry that she worked in wasn't really engaging with what we call the new digital consumer. So she got fed up with that, she left, she set up Holition, she started to come up with creative ideas, she got a coder, she got some funding, and then she delivered an installation for a brand called TISO, and it was using augmented reality. So since then, the company's grown dramatically. There's about 27 of us now. We're a group of technologists, a creative team, and a production team. 50% of our coders are female, because we work within luxury and fashion. It's really important for us to, when we're developing code, to develop, to have that kind of gender bias on what we're developing. We do all sorts of things. So this is augmented reality, which you're seeing, but we also do holographic, we do magic mirrors. We work with some of the biggest brands in the world. So our biggest client is LVMH, Boucheron, the Kering Group. And yeah, that's kind of what we're about. What I'm here to do is tell you a little bit about some of the projects that I've worked on from a sort of experiential point of view, and sort of talk you through some of the case studies that we've got. But before I go forward, can someone tell me about MEC? Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to say something?
MEC.
I am at MEC.
I'm a PA, so I don't know that. My understanding is that they help brands have a platform across media and how to spend their money on getting a media person.
Okay.
That's very, very...
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And with regards to media presence, is it a certain type of media? Or is it all
media planning and buying basically across all platforms, so traditional offline channels, but also digital. And yeah, quite often we are challenged to come up with ideas in this kind of space, in new media, new technology, things that bring advertising to life a bit more, make them more engaging and less avoidable. So yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, and we'll work on it in teams on different clients, on briefs, based on their advertising objectives.
Brilliant. And with regards to like your digital presence, I mean, do you guys do a lot of digital activations?
Yeah.
Cool. And is that specific to websites, or is it to like all sorts of things?
Probably the core part is display advertising, but we do everything. So yeah, we have like specialists in all areas of digital comms.
Okay.
So yeah, so anything and everything, but we like to do a bit of kind of display.
Yeah.
Display, but doing outside of that.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Cool. So this is a really famous quote that we like to use. I don't know if you guys know William Gibson. He was like this. He wrote a book called Neuromancer, which is kind of highlighting the way human psychology evolved dramatically in the future to work within the digital space. So things like virtual reality and stuff like that. There's a really cool film actually called Johnny Mnemonic, which has got like Keanu Reeves in it. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It was like this film that got like panned, but basically it was it kind of highlighted like this future where people were using their brain as kind of like a USB hard drive. So you get rid of like your childhood memories and then you use that to transfer data. But yeah, fantastic quote from him. The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. So, you know, there's loads of technology. Right now, you know, the government has invested a lot of initiatives to help people generate income through startups. So there's lots of digital businesses that are sort of coming to London and are setting up because loads of people are looking for tax breaks and they're looking to invest in new businesses. But that's kind of what's been happening for a long time. It's just only in the last sort of 5 years that people have seen that there's a really interesting opportunity to develop these new platforms, and it's because of human need. This, I don't know if you guys have seen this. So this is an image of the users at the moment of people using Facebook in the world, and it's growing dramatically every day. What's so compelling about it for us is that it's just showing that the world is starting to get even more connected, and even though people don't know where the future's going or can kind of see where the future's going, this is kind of a reality. So people are doing a lot of things through mobile devices or they're doing things through their computer, but that's starting to shift dramatically in all sorts of ways. So things like wearable tech, things like VR, things like immersive experiences where people can actually monitor and see what you're doing are starting to create these interesting conversations. So for us, we see technology as a solution that's looking for a problem. A lot of people always ask us, like, what does that mean? So as I was saying, there's lots of investment at the moment in new tech businesses, especially within London, places like Israel, the US obviously. But what we found is that there's loads of technology out there, and there's loads of gimmicky technology out there. And especially companies like yourselves who are coming to businesses like us and asking for solutions using technology to help the brands we work with engage with consumers. What we found is, especially when we started, that we were developing tech just for the sake of tech. And the problem with that is that the consumer has a negative experience, which isn't really good for the client. What we found is digital, even though it's fantastic, especially in stores, we work in retail, usually digital is very complex, it's not very beautiful, and it also just, it distracts the consumer in many ways, whether it's through mobile or through something else. So I'm going to show you some examples. So this is Marks and Spencer's. They're not one of your clients. No? Cool. So this is something that we didn't do for them, but they basically, when everyone started talking about digital 5 years ago, within the retail space, they set up this initiative. They had loads of technology there, so there was like interactive screens, there was like iPads, all that kind of stuff. But no one actually went into those spaces, so they'll go in there to buy some food or to try on some clothes, and they'll see this digital experience, but they wouldn't use it. And the problem with that, I mean, we found is that people are very complex, and when you offer them a digital platform, it has to kind of engage with them even before they get to it. So I'll show you some examples of that. So this is something we did for Louis Vuitton at the Selfridges store. They basically built like this kind of experience, and what we developed for them was basically a touch table. Which is actually quite, not a very sophisticated piece of technology, but for Louis Vuitton, who've never done digital before. And when I say digital, I don't mean like e-commerce or website, I'm talking about a digital experience within their store. This was a really new thing for them. And what we developed for them was a way for you to design a product, create it, customize it, and then either purchase it through the system or share it. And then from that, once they start getting data and once they start communicating with you, you're able to purchase other products. Yeah, so a really simple idea, but something that took us about 8 months to develop. So for us, technology has to be useful, so I was talking about that before. This for us isn't very beautiful, so we've developed technologies like this in the past where we virtually try on things. And what we found, especially within luxury fashion, is that they're not very sexy. I mean, you could be someone wearing a pair of jeans, you walk into a store, you virtually try on something, and maybe it'd be a dress, and it just doesn't create that beautiful experiences. But lots of digital companies are developing this tech because they want that to be the future, for obvious reasons. So what we try to do is just sort of take a few steps back. So I'll show you something we did for Uniqlo. This was about 3 years ago. This is in the San Francisco store. Really simple idea. So you put on this jacket, we capture the texture of that jacket using our software, and then through a user interface, so in this instance they had like an iPad that was included, you get to change the colour of that jacket. So a really simple idea. Yeah. So there was a video that was uploaded, I think it was about 2 days after it went live, and they got about 116,000 hits within 48 hours, which is really cool. Again, very simple idea, but something that's quite engaging, very shareable. So just showing you our tracking software. So this is kind of how far it's gone now. So now we're able to track anything. So now you don't even have to put a watch on, you don't have to download an application. We're starting to create experiences where you'll go in front of what we call like a magic mirror or an interactive space, and then you engage with the brand in a fun way. So this is something we did for Moet Chandon. Really simple idea, I know it looks a bit rude. But you basically start spraying champagne everywhere. We capture that video over a 7-second clip, and then you share that through social media. So we delivered this in 2013. I think there was 1,000 guests, about 400 groups used the system, and about 80% of them shared it through Facebook. And we didn't know if people were going to do that or not, because at the time, putting all your details on Facebook and stuff it's a little bit intrusive, but I don't know, maybe they've had too much champagne, I don't know, lots of people started to share it. Yeah.
So I can ask where you did that, was it an event?
Yeah, so it was for the British Independent Film Awards. And it's something that Moet Chandon sponsor. And what they had a problem with is they have all these A-listers that go to this event, and what they used to do is go up to them and say, here, hold this bottle of champagne, I'll take a picture of you, and then we'll donate some money to your favourite charity. And what they found was they got a lot of complaints because the A-lister would be like, actually, I don't want to do that. That makes me feel like I'm in a difficult situation. So we created this kind of organic opportunity for people to have some fun and then share. And it's really cool. I mean, they had Tom Hardy used it, what's his name, James McAvoy, Stanley Tucci, so lots of really cool A-listers. So that's it in a kind of experiential space. Now I'll show you something that we've been developing over the last 3 years. It's called Face. And basically, it's a way for you to virtually try on makeup using our software. I'm going to give this to you if you want to sort of have a go at it. So just to give you a bit of background, I haven't worn lipstick since I was at uni. Jonathan, who's my boss, me and him saw like a gap in the market to develop something that was a little bit different. And so we developed a lipstick trying application, just lipstick, and we sold that to a very famous brand that we're not allowed to talk about. And we were in contract with them for about 2.5 years, and we just come out of contract with them in February. And we've refurbished the app, so now you can try on lipstick, you can try on eyeshadow, and also blusher. Yeah? So I have to take a picture?
Yeah, go for
And
it.
that's a bit rude. I'm going to tweet this. So here we're tracking about 70 different muscles on the face. When we developed this application, it was just software, but now what we tried to do is make it as dynamic as possible. So it can run as a plugin on an existing app. We developed kiosks for a few airport brands, so you can virtually try on in store and stuff. But yeah, it's just a fun way to engage with different people. So we've taken that software further, and I'll show you another example on there. We're doing something with Alexander McQueen where it was for a launch of their show that they did at the V&A, and you basically get to try on Alexander McQueen makeups, and they're quite specific looks. I'll see if I can show you that actually. Hold that sort of oh, there we go. That's scary. So again, the software, as I said, we can track anything, and what we wanted to do is show that it can be as dynamic as it needs to be. So here, with this software, we're just tracking your face and then overlaying with an Alexander McQueen look. And what we did is we pumped that into a projection as well, so you can see that on the wall. We also took that further as well, so we do a lot of projection mapping. That's kind of like a little bit of bread and butter business that we do. And And here what we've got, and this is at LCF if you want to go there, we've got a piece of polystyrene, we've dug out a face to create this kind of old theatre trick, and then we're projecting into that, and the eyes start to blink and move and stuff. I'm sorry we haven't got any videos, it's quite a new installation. But those eyes follow you as you move. Yeah. Does anyone else want to try it? Any of you guys? Yeah? It's really fun. And it is Friday, so. So yeah. So this is something that we get asked a lot from our clients. They very much want to have contact with the audience, not with iPhones, not with iPads or cameras. What we found now is that the consumer, when they're told that they have to download an application, kind of see this kind of sort of twinge in their face, like, because they want to give their data away, or they just don't want to go through that process. So I'm going to show you a few things that we've developed, a few of the brands that we work with, that are very, very much stripped back. So when we started as a company, we were just a technology business, and that was cool. It was very, we were very brash, very, very kind of rational with technology. And now what we're doing now is just creating experiences. So this is something we did for Dom Perignon a couple of weeks ago. We created an infinity mirrored experience. So for Dom Perignon, they launched this new type of champagne that's about 25 years old. And they wanted to create the experience of you being inside a champagne glass. And what we've got here is basically just a mirrored cube with a projected, with content being projected on one side, and then that infinitizes around the space. Now initially when we designed this, we wanted data to be pumped through there. So whatever was going on socially, we visualize that in some sort of way. And we also were going to put interactivity in this, so you go into that space and control the content. But they didn't go with that in the end, they just wanted you to design this moment. And the reason they did this was so that people would take pictures and they would take video and they would share that. I'll show you downhill. I'll show you downhill in a second. Just wanted to talk to you about visualization using data. So this is something we did for a brand called List. I don't know if you guys know List. Kind of like Net-a-Porter, but a little bit more sort of specific to a kind of tailored experience through Net-a-Porter. So what we've got here is basically a live data feed of a user journey through the website. So you'd look at a brand, you'd look at a colour, and you'd also look at price. Basically, List wanted to visualise that to their investors. What we've written is an algorithm that captures that data in real time. So I think they have something like 50,000 users per second. And as each person journeys through that vortex, as each person journeys through that vortex, they kind of have this kind of journey. And basically, List were having this investors' dinner, and they didn't want to show like spreadsheets or graphs or anything like that. They just wanted to show the beauty of the experience, and that's kind of what we've done in real time.
So sorry, is that designers around the edge? I can't really read it, and then colours, and then so is it people on the site buying stuff, and that's feeding into that? Is that what?
Just looking at stuff. Yeah, just looking at stuff.
On their website.
Yeah. Or through List's kind of digital aggregation portal. So they've got their website, but actually they're selling their services to a lot of these brands as well. And the reason for that is data. Especially this year, like obviously there's e-commerce, which is a big thing, but feed commerce is like a really powerful thing. And lots of people are taking pictures, they're sharing and stuff. So we're writing a lot of algorithms that capture that kind of data in real time, and then how you visualize that is entirely up to you. Sorry, it's really professional. So this is Dunhill. I don't know if you guys have seen this. So, give you a bit of background on myself. So, I worked within the music industry for a long time, and I started to work with a lot of technology companies. And one of the technology companies I started working for was a company called Holition, and we did a lot of holographic events. And one of the big events I worked on was the 2-pack hologram about 3 years ago at Coachella. But this is where I first ever met Holition. Holition used to be one of my clients. I did a show for Burberry the year before in Beijing, and their biggest competitor is done in China. And they wanted to create the illusion of a snow globe of British elements for a show. And they had about 1,000 guests, 500 on each side of this holographic setup, and then you've got 64 models on stage. And then as the elements start to change, they start to react on that. So first of all, this tree starts to grow, and that's when people start putting out their phones and start filming stuff. It's quite an opulent piece of engagement. So I don't know if you guys do a lot of live events. You guys do, yeah? So this is probably like, for us anyway, it's one of the biggest installations we've ever done. It took about 8 months to develop, 5 days to build for like a 10-minute show. And at the time, within China, the market was very buoyant for luxury brands. A lot of them were going out there and doing these big shows to say, look, hey, we're here, buy our products. There's any questions about that?
It's very good. It's mesmerising.
It was really cool. My boss was sitting next to the Vogue editor of China when this went live, and she started crying. Oh my god! It was really cool. Show you the utopian hero shot. I can show you that later. So yeah, I'll show you some of our just some of our creative stuff as well. So this is something we did for the cost. They launched a new shoe called the Eclair. We're starting to work with a lot of polystyrene at the moment. So we basically built a 2-meter wide version of their shoe and projected onto that. I think we created about 30 different swatches, and this was for like an event. So as people sort of turn up, they kind of see this kind of hero piece. Starting to do a lot more of this type of work. So we're working with a lot of like dance DJs and artists that are looking to do something a little bit different at their shows. And they usually ask for hologram, but they usually can't afford it, so they usually go this way. Yeah. So yeah, for us within retail, what we're trying to do is enhance the narrative of the clients that we work for, creating a kind of theatrical presence, and that's utilising sensory, physical, digital, and theatrical. So there's a famous quote, I've forgotten who wrote it, but he said that if print was to come out tomorrow, it would kill digital. And the reality is, people love that sort of tactile, piece of engagement. I mean, you can look at a screen and that's fantastic, but if it's not compelling, you're not going to journey with the brand. So we always get asked this as well. What is the future? We get loads of clients, and usually it's marketing managers or digital managers or innovation managers that they're looking over their shoulder. They're worried they're going to get fired, and they need the next big thing to help them, get them to the next space. There's lots of things that people are talking about at the moment. So I mentioned e-commerce, VR as well. There's lots of VR that's being developed at the moment. VR is like virtual reality, so I don't know if you know like Oculus Rift, Morpheus. They're these experiences where you put on a headset and then you're kind of in this space. And it's great technology. It's been around since the early 90s, but everyone's kind of talking about it at the moment, especially gamers. They love it because they can, they're kind of in Vietnam, like shooting someone. Go go to the chopper, you know, all of that stuff. But there's lots of problems with it at the moment. It's to do with the psychology. So if someone's having this experience and it kind of feels like they're flying, because the body's not getting the kind of G-force that makes you feel like you're flying, you start to feel sick. So there's, you know, brands are a bit worried about it because I don't want people to feel sick about my brand, you know, that kind of thing. But one of the things that we're constantly asked about is wearable tech, which is a great thing. I mean, you know, Apple made like billions and billions of pounds on the Apple Watch recently. But what we found is that wearable tech is very rational. It's very, you know, how many beats has my heart beated? How many steps have I taken? Which isn't very sexy. This is something, so for us, it's something we did with an artist called Lauren Boker. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Somerset House, she's got an installation there. And what we've done with her is we've built this dress that changes colours depending on what you're thinking. So, you know, completely out there. It's a little bit creepy, but we kind of like it. What we've done here with her is we've developed the ceramic fabric with her. And then we've connected that to an ECG headset, and then this experience happens. Now, a lot of the clients that we work with ask about this. They're like, well, this is cool, but what does it do for me? And the answer is we don't know. You know, we just try to do something exciting, something a little bit different. We showed this to Victoria's Secret, and they went wild for it, but they just don't know what they want to do with it. Colour changing underwear, depending how you're thinking, is a bit of a weird thing, but yeah. You guys got any questions about this? Cool, and that's me. Thank you very much.